Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 113.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Cashflow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other Cashflow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I don't know what time it is where you are listening, but I am glad that you are here. Now, as many of you know, we are getting prepared to launch our new mastermind group and all about multifamily. So we're going to be talking about that, obviously here for a number of weeks. But this time, what I wanted to do is that I wanted to help everybody generate some leads. So we have one of our, materials where I did a 4-hour event all about lead generation. And obviously we can't give you the full 4-hour experience right now because who's going to listen that long? However, what we can do is give you a good 40 minutes of it. And that's exactly what I want to do. In the meantime, if you have any ideas about wanting to be inside the multifamily group, you might want to go over to cashflowdiary.com/multifamily so that you can avail yourself of the webinars that we've done and you can listen to them to see how what multifamily might actually fit inside what it is that you are looking for. As a special bonus, those who are in the group, as well as those who are going to be Cashflow Diary Founders members, those are two ways to find this new piece of information. Many people wonder how a commercial deal can get done. I'm going to be going over the details of that as well during the time so that individuals have the understanding of how that works, how very similar it is to multifamily, but yet how different it is at the same time. And we're going to have lots of fun over the 12-week period. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows. And just as a side note, some of you listening to me right now, you could be wishing you had a new iPhone 6, iPad 2 Air, or maybe even the wonderful LiveScribe pen. If you go over to cashflowdiary.com/multifamily, we're giving some away. You've got to go there for the details when you watch the third video. Anyway, I've got some lead generation to help you with. So here is part 1, and I'll give you part 2 of our lead generation course so that you can hear some of the techniques and tools and mindset required to make it happen for yourself. How are you guys out there? You excited? I know that I am. We're going to do a lot of work today. Make sure that you can hear me. Make sure that you are ready to pay attention. Make sure that you have a number of questions. Normally, I would say, and I still believe it's going to require 100% participation. But I have no way of holding you accountable because I can't see you. But that's okay. Here's what I want to make sure that you understand. Today is about lead generation. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to generate some leads. In fact, there is a special technique that I can't remember if I've ever taught it. And if I have, it's definitely been years. And I mean years since I've even shared it with anybody, except for maybe like my wife or something. And what I'm going to do is we're definitely going to talk about that as well. And it's probably one of the most effective lead generation techniques that I know. And it's definitely something that you're going to want to make sure that you stick around for, that you pay attention to, that you ask questions about, and that you completely understand. Understand this. Every business needs leads. You need new people to talk to, and you need to have strategies that go out there to be able to make that happen. And that's exactly what I want. to give you today is I'm going to give you strategies to make that happen, regardless of whether, you're selling lotions, regardless of if your business has nothing to do with real estate. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that your business requires leads. If you're looking to raise capital, obviously you're in the right place. I'm going to show you how to find those leads. If you're looking to do real estate, you're definitely in the right place. Show you how to find those leads. In fact, I'm going to show you some techniques that could occasionally be specific towards a certain genre of business. But at the end of the day, all of these techniques will work for everyone. And what I need you to understand is how to apply them and tweak them to make them work for you. We're going to go through a number of different sites occasionally to show you how to actually gain access to the tools and whatnot to be able to go out there. Hopefully I'll be able to switch the way you think and the way you see, lead generation. I'm going to show you a tool, in fact, that you've received before. There's a tool that you've had in your hand and you don't even know that it's a lead generation tool. You haven't thought of it that way, and I'm going to definitely share that with you. I'm going to do my best to pour everything I've got from here into there, i.e. you. And I just want you to pay attention. And again, it's 100% participation. So if I ask a question, that means there should be an answer. For example, if I say yes or no, there's a yes or a no. That means type yes or no. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but I'm telling you, the more that you are engaged through this process, the easier it'll be for all of us. The information that I have to share with you is normally shared easily over a 16-hour period. So we break it up, but I'm going to try to condense it down to 4 hours in the time that we have today. Imagine for a second that you have a business, whatever the business is, but you have more leads than you have time to actually do. That is the ultimate goal of what we're going to do today. Give you all the ways of thinking, the action steps, the systems required to go out there and generate more leads than you have time to handle. And with, like I said before, low to no cost strategies. So hopefully you're ready for that. I'm excited. All right. Here's a couple of things that the first and foremost thing to understand. There's all of this new information is going to come at you really, really quickly. And some of you may know this next thing that I'm about to share. You actually may know it already, but I want to review it for those of you that know it because you may have forgotten it in some way, shape, or form. All right. What I want to do is I want to make sure that we all start on the same page. No quote unquote investor, no business owner left behind. So here's what we're going to do. All right. First, we're going to start with some of the basics when it comes to your mindset around generating leads. One of the first things that you need to know, though, when it comes to learning new information is what is called the 4 levels of learning, right? Obviously, this isn't brand new information, but it may be new to you, and that's what's important, okay? Therefore, there are 4 levels to this, and there's a point to understanding what I'm about to say. The first level is what they call unconscious incompetence. If I don't spell anything right, just blame it on my PhD, public high school diploma. Okay. The first level is unconscious incompetence. The second level is conscious incompetence. See, I just spelled it. One of these is right. The other isn't. I don't know which it is, but that's kind of funny. All right. So we've got unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence. And now then we eventually get to conscious competence, and then we get to unconscious competence. Now, the goal is to get your ability to generate leads down to level 4. Level 4, let me start with level 1 is you just don't know what you don't know. All you know is, hey, I need to generate leads. You don't know how. You don't even know how to even formulate a question yet. Like right now, you're like, I'd love to type a question, but I have no idea what a question would be. And I don't want to sound stupid for asking a question. Well, ask it anyway. Unconscious incompetence is that's where that is. You just know you don't know. Conscious incompetence, you know, here you don't know what you don't know. Here you know that you know nothing. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen to you as we, interact today, is you're going to get to step number 2, guaranteed. Some of you will get to step number 3, where you know exactly what to do, but you're going to have to think about it. It's going to take work. It's going to take some effort, and that's fine. And then the goal, and this is where the homework begins, to get to step number 4 is going to happen after you're done watching. It's going to happen because you stay what is called plugged in or a part of the conversation. Right now, you're going to have a time with me and you're going to be excited and we're going to have some fun. You're going to generate some leads. We're going to do all those things. Here's my point. My point is the only way you ever get to unconscious competence is by staying plugged into the conversation and into the community. You can't just do this once and go, okay, cool, I'm good. You have to stay connected, and you've got to develop a system that allows you to stay connected daily or monthly to the goals that you have set for yourself to be able to generate these leads and make this business happen. There's one ingredient that's required to make all of this work. It's persistence. And I'm writing it over it because that's what matters. It's the one ingredient that makes all of this work. Persistence. If you fail to be persistent, this won't happen. I don't care if you stink and have never done lead generation and never done a business before. If you're not persistent, trust me, you can take a highly talented person who is not persistent and they're going to fail. You can take a low talented person who is persistent and they'll succeed. I've seen it time and again. What you lack in skill, you make up for in numbers, period. And we can do that, and that's what's going to happen for you as you go through this particular piece with us today. Now, the next thing to understand as we go through this is not just the 4 levels of learning, but you also have to understand that when you're going through this process, you got to know what to say, but you also have to think about whom do I need to talk with or talk to. Not everyone you're trying to talk to is a quote unquote lead. All right. So here's the process that I'm referring to right now. When you're building your business, first you have contacts. These are simply people who you've got name, number, email, right? You're building the contacts, often called your database. That's it. So name, number, email. Then that contact becomes a lead at a certain point. But for now, we're going to say that the contacts are all leads. All right. Name, number, email. The process you've got to do is then invite. After you've got a name and number, you got to invite them to something. And then you've got to get them to say yes to that something. And then you got to tell them all about the something that you're doing. And then you've got to follow up. And then after you follow up, you got to enroll them. These are all the steps necessary to earn money. Okay? That's all the steps that are necessary. You got to understand something. Today, we're only going to, at best, cover these. We don't have time to go into those. All right? We're going to focus up here in this process so that you can go out there and generate leads and put them in your database and begin the invitation process. We don't even have the time to go through how to make sure that your invites are good and getting them to yes. But we will go through many different techniques and strategies on how to get them into your database. That's the main thing that we're after today, is how can you grow your database by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people a day, a week, a month, whatever it is. And understand that every business out there does some form of this in some way, shape, or form. All right, so let's keep going. Here's the next thing that I need you to understand, because you have to have the right mental mindset in order to make lead generation in your business work. The next thing that we must talk about is what I call the path to becoming, okay? The path to becoming. On this path, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We've got 8 different things that are happening because most of us that are watching today want to be of some significance to a lot of people. That's what we're after in a lot of ways. We want to be significant. You say things like, oh, I'd like to earn a lot of money, but that's not really what you're after, because you're going to do something with the money. And after you do something with the money, you're going to go change some lives, blah, 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 blah. And you're searching for some form of significance. That's great. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Now, in order to make that happen, we have to start somewhere. And this is the one ingredient I hope you already have. And considering the time and that you're here watching online, you probably do. It's desire. You got to have this. I can't help you if you don't have desire. With desire, though, you must now learn to do a number of different things. The most and probably the most important resource that you have on this path is your time. And I'm going to show you how to use that time, like you're doing right now, to gain new talents or skills. And as you gain those new talents or skills, you're getting into new relationships. In fact, some of those relationships could be in the chat room right now. You're talking to each other, helping each other out, etc. That's what I mean. Because you all have invested the time, you're gaining new talents, those new talents and skills, even as you're developing those new talents and skills, get you into new relationships, which help you gain new credit or credibility with that peer group, credibility. And then you gain access to cash, and then you gain access to cash flow, and then therefore significance. That's what's going on. This is what's happening for all of you at some form or level right now, is that as you go up this chain, you get closer to significance. And this is what we're all investing in. We're investing in each other to help all of us get to the top of that particular path. Okay. And then as we go through this process, what's going to happen to you is that you're going to run into many different types of people. You're going to run into individuals who are very supportive of what it is that you're doing, and you're going to run into individuals who are less than supportive. And here's what I mean by that. I'm going to refer to them in this particular case as fruits, specifically apples, because many of us have different we're all familiar with, fruit in various different ways. So we've got apples of all kinds and colors and shapes and sizes, etc. And what I want to do is give you some ideas of how to identify how you should invest your time, because I don't want you chasing people to be able to make that happen. I don't want you chasing prospects to be able to go out there and and build your business, because at some point a prospect will give you completely free, unlimited, lifetime access, complimentary to their voicemail. They'll do that. And I want you to avoid that brain damage as much as humanly possible. So in order to do that, I want to illustrate for you the different forms of apples that we're going to talk about right here. Sorry. And we're going to start off first with the ones that you are looking for. You are looking right now for these. They're red ones, red apples. These are individuals, in all intents and purposes, they're perfectly ripe. When you think about fruit, especially an apple, red is supposedly when it's ready and all that other stuff. Now, personally, I prefer a different color of apple when I'm actually eating apples. But when we're talking about lead generations, red hot, ready to go. These are the people that are positive, supportive. They love what you're doing. They're into it and they're ready to take action now. Unfortunately, this is usually only about 3% of the people that you run into. So most of the time, you're not going to run into them all the time unless you're in front of thousands of people. So say if you're in front of 10,000 people in a month, well, 3% of 10,000, that's a lot of people. And therefore, you're going to have a significant amount of business. But it takes a lot of work to get in front of 10,000 people every month. So for most of us, getting in front of that many people every month is a challenge. And that's where systems comes into your lead generation. As we go through the day, we're going to escalate the types of systems that you can use to go out there and do this. So red apples, they unfortunately represent a very small percentage of the individuals that are out there that we're looking for. Then the next one that we have green. These individuals are not, they're interested, but they're not quite yet ready. They like what you're doing. They're not negative in any way, shape, or form, but they often require additional nurturing or additional information and additional understanding, more descriptions of the benefits, not necessarily the features. And they could be shopping, they could be comparing, but they're already engaged in the conversation in some way, shape, or form. You've piqued their curiosity, but they're asking, please give me more. All right, excellent. Now, here's the good news. There is, I would say approximately 37% of the individuals you run into are in that particular category, which is great. Because if they're in this particular category, that means they're searching. So right now, you're talking about 40% of the people that you're talking to are at least headed in the direction that you're hoping for. This is good news. Then what we're going to be talking about are the individuals who, well, I'll just call them brown apples. Now, you ever seen an apple with like brown spots on it? It's not like it's all bad, but maybe it had a bad experience, right? And because the apple had a bad experience, it's not exactly, you can listen to part of it, you're going to eat the parts that are good and get rid of the parts that are bad. And at the end of the day, you're like, I don't really know if I want to make that happen. And these are the individuals who you think you need to convince. You think you need to convince them. And that's how they come across. They come across in such a way as you feel like I've got to convince them in order to get them to want to do whatever it is my product or service is. Well, okay. Unfortunately, there's a lot of those because not a lot of individuals are always looking for what it is that you and I have to offer them. And at the end of the day, we need to just understand that as we go. Then there's this one. There's the uber, just flat out rotten apple. This is the person who's negative. It's like, dude, did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Who, destroyed your Cheerios? What is going on in such a way that you must talk to me like this? I'm sorry to have interrupted your day. Clearly, there are better things that you would rather be doing than listening to me, that type of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. This person is totally out there. I'm going through this so that as you generate leads, you don't beat yourself up, because this is what I used to do. I would think, for whatever reason, under, whatever fantastical delusions we have as entrepreneurs, that of course everybody wants what I've got, right? I want it, so why don't you? Well, if you've done this for any length of time, you will learn that that's not necessarily the case. And then I would internalize that as, oh, I guess there's something wrong with me. I guess there's something wrong with the offer. Maybe this deal isn't good. Maybe real estate doesn't work. I think you get my point. My point is to hopefully help you manage your psychology a little bit better than, I did at the beginning, so that you understand that you've got red, green, brown, and rotten apples. Here's the point. This is unfortunately 60% of the population right down here, brown or rotten, especially when the economy isn't going in the direction that most people want it to go. Keep that in mind. Now, the good news is that you can build a business just on this category alone. You can build a $1 million business just on this category alone. Let me say that one more time. You can build a $1 million business. You could get $1 million worth of revenue from just this one category alone. The question is can you put systems in place that keep the green people around long enough so that they become red, and take occasionally the brown ones, cut out the brown spots, and so that they become good enough to use inside of your business in various different ways, and just learn how to run from the rotten apples. And that's what I want you to understand. The one non-renewable resource that we all have is time. I want you to learn to recognize these individuals, okay? That's what I need you to do. Learn to recognize these individuals, all right? And then, as you recognize these individuals, spend appropriate amounts of time. 80% of your time needs to be spent up here, 20% down here. These red apples, this is personal one-on-one time. Green apples, you've got a system, some sort of follow-up process in place. Same thing down here. These people will automatically remove themselves from your system if they go rotten. These brown ones occasionally turn green and go to red, and that's great. And you need a system to follow that up and make those things happen. Oftentimes, as business owners, we make a critical mistake. We go out there, we get a customer, and then we start all over and go, okay, cool, I need to get another customer. And I'm going to help you with that. And that's probably one of my most valuable, most profitable techniques. And I'm going to show that to you as we go through today to help make that happen.
Are you tired of letting good cash flow generating ideas go to waste? Go to cashflowdiary.com/ready to apply for a complimentary, yes, that means free, one-on-one breakthrough session. Take action now. Go to cashflowdiary.com/ready. Again, that's cashflowdiary.com/ready. Before we get back to today's episode of the Cashflow Diary podcast, your host Jay Massey has some important insights to share with you.
Okay, so when you get the sneak peek on the inside, you get the ninja secrets. Is it helping? Are you using them? Remember, something that you think you've learned but aren't doing is something you haven't learned. As it's been said before, to know and not do is to not know. So I'm hoping that as you go through this information or as you hear this information, that you're able to go out there and execute in some way, shape, or form. As I've said before, there's a lot more where that came from, but it doesn't matter if you don't take the action that you know you should at this particular moment. So go out there, do some step-by-step, listen to the rest of what we are about to share with you, and I think you'll find a whole lot more that you can do to go out there and begin to build your business. Here we go. When it comes to lead generation, it's more about sorting and time management. You want to get to the ones that are reddest, the fastest, and the best way to do that is you ask all the questions during the lead generation process before the invite so that they say no as quickly as humanly possible. That's your goal. Your goal is to get them to say no. And I know that sounds crazy, but the sooner you get there, for all the right reasons, the sooner you actually get to what it is, the ones that you're looking for. And you got to stay clear on that. This happens whether we're raising capital, whether we're selling a widget, whether it's a car wash. It doesn't really matter what we're after. What matters is the experience of that. Can you imagine that okay, let me tell you a quick story. When it comes to generating leads and understanding apples, I'm not kidding. This is what happened to me. I'm out there prospecting, doing everything I can, using the best elevator pitches I know, right? Just like you. And guess what happens? As I'm talking to a prospect, he looks me in the face and goes, hey, do you want to sell stuff? Now, if your prospect actually said that to you, what's going through your head? In my head was, well, yeah, that's why I'm talking to you. Aren't you ready to buy? He looks at me and I kid you not. He says, well, you need to learn to say less to more people. Ow. That's the guy I was hoping to enroll in my business, in my opportunity. That's the guy I wanted to purchase from me. And he's telling me, dude, you're so messing this up. You just need to say less to more people. And I'm just like, that hurt. Now, mind you, that lesson happened almost probably even decades ago now, but I still remember it because of how painful it was for me. Here's the point. You now know it today, and you can manage your psychology a lot better. Managing your psychology when you're going out there and looking for people that want what you have to offer is important. And I hope you heard what I just said, that you're looking for people that want what you have to offer. Now, one of you were asking about something to say, and this is what I want to cover then really fast. I'm going to go through a number of different scripts. Let's go through, though, what you say when someone asks you. Someone asks you, what do you do? Okay, right? So someone asks you, what do you do? And you're just like, and you just start rambling. or you don't say anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick little formula that will give you, no matter your business, a way to use your, to say something to anybody who asks you what you do. So here's the formula, okay? So watch this. It is I action verb target market benefit benefit so they can benefit. Okay? Now, here's how this works. This effectively describes what it is that you do. And the key to prospecting, the key to lead generation is always asking an appropriate question. So I'm going to get to the appropriate question here in a second, but I want you paying attention to this formula. This formula is I action verb target market benefit so they can benefit. What it simply means is that now you get the ability to target your market, tell them what you do and the benefits of what you do. Too many of us spend so much time talking about the features. So here's how this works. You could say, I show busy professionals, show is the action verb in this case, busy professionals, how to leverage their retirement plan using real estate so they can quit worrying about the stock market and its ups and downs. So all I did was make up, I literally just made that up, something to put in there that describes the benefits of, and if you get better at this, the benefit of the benefit is even better. So I action verb target market benefit so they can benefit. Whatever your business is, it doesn't really matter. This happens. You have to ask yourself, what is it that you do? Do you show people? Do you educate people? Do you inspire people? Do you lead them through a process? What do you do? Do you help people? What is it that your business really does? You say, I do real estate. No, you don't do real estate. You say, I'm looking to raise capital. Great. That's probably where you are actually showing people how to use a resource of theirs, because that's really what raising private capital, by the way, is about. It's about learning to gain access to other people's resources. Okay. So I want you to understand that. So it's I, action verb, target market, benefit, so they can benefit. One of the best things that you can do for yourself and for your business is to have 10 different versions of each one of those options and then learn to combine them so that no matter whom you're talking to, you have the ability to type in I, action verb, target market, benefit, so they can benefit. Now, the key is to actually do what we're talking about. Here's another way of looking at it. Some of you, you're like ready, fire, aim. Some of you are ready, aim, ready, and you never fire. What I'm saying is I want you to begin to fire, aim, fire, aim, then get ready. That's pretty much how I do it. When it comes to lead generation, what you're looking for are problems. All of us, if you right now are saying, where do I find the best buildings? Where do I find the investors? Where do I find X, Y, and Z? You're asking the wrong question. The question you should be asking yourself is, where do I find problems? People want their problems solved. Okay, you want to get access to other people's money. You want to get access to people to give you cash flow so that as you're going through this process, you want to know how to get to cash and then to cash flow as you solve their problem. You have to have something that they're willing to give in exchange for a solution. But you don't know what their problem is because you're too busy looking for a building. You're not looking for property. You're looking for problems. You're not looking for investors. You're looking for problems, which is another way of saying you're looking for people who have problems. Here's the good news. People advertise their problems every day and they want to talk about what's going on and how special their problem is. Okay? It's like there's some badge. Maybe there's a secret competition on Facebook somewhere where, if I've got the most problems, I get the most friends or something and the most likes. I don't know. Here's what I do know. You as a business owner, your business solves a problem. That's what it should do. It should solve a problem and improve the quality of life of your customer. Period. That's what it does. Therefore, you need to be looking for problems. Okay, so let me give you an example of what this means. When Ryan is talking about how do you stand out from any other investment option, you're reducing your product or service to a commodity. You're saying, well, I could get this over here and I could get this over here. Isn't it the same? No, it's not the same. It's not the same. And the only reason your investors, the only reason your customer, the only reason the people you are looking to serve would treat you the same is because you don't understand their unique problem. The most important thing you can do is ask enough questions to understand their problem. And you got to learn to look for their problem in various different ways. People invest, people purchase for their reasons, not yours. You must understand that. So your advertising copy needs to speak to that. Your verbal message needs to speak to that. The reason I'm teaching you these building blocks is because these building blocks become the message that you place in various different strategies. Because I saw one of you, I think it was you, Susan, you asked, you were like, where's the orchard and where do these apples come from? Well, here's the thing. The apples come from pre-existing relationships in various different ways. And I'm going to show you, as we get towards the end of the day, one of, like I said, my most valuable technique on the planet, period. So keep that in mind. All right, so let me see another question. Where's the best place to find 20-unit apartment complexes? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You're looking for property. You need to look for problems. And what I'm going to do after these building blocks is I'm just going to show you how to find problems, and that's where the leads are going to come from. What's the best way to contact an owner when all you have is their mailing address? Is there a ninja trick for for this, like the voicemail hang up? Yes, we'll get to the voicemail hang up for sure. But the ninja trick for when all you have is their mailing address is to go show up at the property. Okay, so what does this mean? You're like, well, it's not local. I understand it doesn't work too well, but you can send someone else to go. When you go to the property, and this is a lead generation strategy, because when you go to the property, at the end of the day, you don't really care which property you purchase. You care that you purchase properties. So if you're going to, say, a business and your business is, serving B2B or B2C, you don't really care which business or which customer. You care that you have a customer. So everywhere you go is always an opportunity to generate additional leads. One of the things that I found is that when I go visit a subject property, the people around the subject property also help me get additional leads in various ways. So the ninja trick is go to that property. You may not get that property, but you may find that there's a person who's there willing to help you get all the other resources that are around there. How to make sure your wholesale deals close, increasing your buyers list and handling inspections out of state. Got it. Kyle, you shouldn't be handling inspections out of state at all. That's your buyer's job if you're doing a wholesale transaction. Let me see. And making sure your deals close is back to understanding the problem. If I understand that you're going to solve my problem, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make sure that deal closed because I want my problem solved. When you don't connect, when there's a disconnect between here's my problem and this is the only way I have, that's when people treat you like a commodity. That's when deals don't close. And that's when you have to when escrow feels like you're pulling people across the finish line. And it all starts in the way you generated the lead. This may be a silly question, but when you are starting out and had zero budget for finding leads and you were placing cards on cars, were they any particular color? Yes, the cards were canary yellow specifically. Kinko's has a lot of canary yellow. I think it was either 24 pound or 32 pound. I can't remember. It's a little thicker. It's thicker than construction paper, but not quite super cardboard that's not flexible. It was definitely cardstock. Did you maybe try different colored cards or ink to see if one worked better than the other? Nope. I did yellow paper, black ink. It just stood out, boom, rolled with it. Or maybe a fun design. No design whatsoever, handwritten. They were handwritten at first, and then we switched to just printing the words with a phone number. I was thinking of using a green dollar bill type design. Thoughts? There's nothing wrong with the green dollar bills design, by the way. I've seen these before. In fact, let me see if I can find them online for you real fast. Oh, do. Mm. Yep, there they are. So, not that I earn any money for this. It doesn't matter. The point is that I've used things like this because they look like US dollars. If you drop them in a country where US dollars are accepted, people will pick them up. All right. And what ends up happening is that you're a message. See, here's the thing. The message that I just gave you, the I, action, verb, target market, benefit, so they can benefit, that actually now becomes your advertising message. That's why these building blocks are necessary. See, there is method to my madness. You're like, why are we doing this? You're doing this because now you've got your message and then you have call with an 800 number. Done. And then it comes down to the discipline of actually doing the basic business disciplines that I teach so that you have the ability to move forward. Hopefully that makes sense, but this is definitely what a type of design that I'm talking about. Let's see what else we got. It sounds like you raise private capital. I do. Or do you wholesale these deals? I've done both. As of this exact moment, I'm in the process of wholesaling around 20 houses, and I'm raising hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, I was told by my CFO, because I don't keep track of the results of what we do, I just keep doing it, that we've crossed the $10 million mark of investor capital that we have control of, which I thought was absolutely ecstatic and exciting. So if you think, these very things are the things that have helped me to be able to get to the point to where the business can have access to $10 million of investor capital. So you decide for yourself if it's actually worth doing these, exercises. But that's the whole point, is that if you think there's wisdom up here just in this time that we're spending together, then it probably will make sense at some point for us to continue our relationship. Let me see. How do we manage the various systems as we start off on our own? Jefferson, great question. Here's the thing. I started off with an Excel sheet, and I'm not kidding. That's all I had was an Excel sheet, is because I didn't have any super special system. And I did Excel sheet for years. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but it wasn't until last year that we really had a website, and we didn't even have a true database system till earlier this year. And it's only been about 3 or 4 months. And so this entire time, we've been dealing with the 3%. This is why I said earlier, you can build a business that generates millions of dollars of revenue on the 3% alone, if you have a wide enough reach. But it started with things and strategies like this. So keep that in mind as we grow. My seller lead called me and immediately told me his problem. Excellent. He has a condo he needs to sell quickly because he needs cash, been out of job for 1 year. We're having a meeting today, but what do I do after that? Okay, Haya, first of all, by the way, thanks for letting me know how to pronounce your name. Haya, what it comes down to is that's not his problem. He needs cash, but why does he need the cash? What is he going to go do with it? Yeah, just because he hasn't had a job for a year, that doesn't mean he needs cash. For example, I've run into people, in fact, just yesterday, there was a person that I was talking to who was completely stressed out about his situation. And after digging in some more, he's got all these assets that he could still tap into that would literally keep him afloat for at least 4 months or more. But he was stressed out today, a whole, 120 days ahead of time, and he doesn't even need to be yet, and he was focused on the wrong thing. Now, the reason I say this is because there can be times, like there have been times when dealing with a professional athlete, this is usually the common cases where they'll say things like, I'm down to my last $2 million. I'm down to my last $1 million. And to them, that's, I need cash. Just because someone needs cash, don't assume it's because he was out of a job for a year. He may need it for some other reason. I want to know what that specific reason is. I want to know what other options he's chosen. I need to understand those things. Now, the challenge is that what we're talking about today is lead generation, not sales. We're beginning to dip into sales once we've done that, but that's the thing. That's also part of the qualification process for the lead to understand, Are they ready now? Anthony asked earlier, I got all these people that say they're interested, but they never seem to follow through. It's because you're not qualifying how painful it is. You're not willing. You got to be willing to ask the questions that may cause them to leave, that may cause them to never come back. You've got to figure out what that looks like for you. All right. So when would be the right time to follow up with a seller who says they're thinking of selling their home to downsize without putting it on the market, but aren't ready yet? Jackson, the easiest answer I can give you is to ask them, okay, so Mr. Customer, it makes sense. I understand that you want to go out there and sell your house and you're saying it's not ready yet. I'm just curious. In your mind, would calling you next week, would you be ready then? Or is there some other time you had in mind? That's how I would handle that. That's almost verbatim how I would handle that. Now, here's the cool thing, Jackson. Now that you've already got that particular person on the phone, don't forget to ask for a referral. By the way, that's a hint at what one of my most valuable techniques is. And there's a way of asking questions to make sure you generate referrals to get all of the referrals that your business needs so you don't have to spend money on marketing. That's the one thing I want to share with you is that the strategies that I know keep marketing budgets low, period, because that's what I know how to do. Lead generation is a sorting process. You're sorting. You've got to sort from complete strangers to are you even interested? And one of the best ways to do that is with the formula I gave you earlier. That formula, by the way, is key. All you got to do is add one question on the end of that formula, and suddenly it becomes a lead generation magnet right there. So here's what we're going to do. I need to take a break here in a second to get some water and that type of stuff. Go through a couple of technical issues that we're having on the other side, which is great. Keep typing the questions. But what I'm going to do, and this is the exercise for you, what I want you to do in real time, I'm going to give you the question that you need to add to the end of your statement. Because see, here's the thing. This is no value to you if you don't take any action. This is immensely valuable to you if I help you generate leads today. So I'm going to give you something to do so that even during the 10-minute break, you at home right now will generate some leads. Hopefully you're ready for it. So here we go. All I want you to do after your benefit statement, after your audio business card, that's what we're going to call the formula. The formula is your audio business card. That's what it is. Audio because you say it. Remember, it's I, action, verb, target, market, benefit, so they can benefit. That's the formula. All you're going to do is add one question. That question is, do you know anyone who might be interested in a service like that? Question mark. I'll say it again because it's verbatim. Do you know anyone that might be interested in a service like that? Question mark. Here's what I want you to do during the 10-minute break. Okay? Here's exactly what I want you to do. I want you to take the formula plus add the question and post it on your Facebook profile. Okay? That's exactly what I want you to do. All right? So you take the formula, I, action, verb, target, market, benefit, so they can benefit, and then you're going to ask the question, do you know anyone that might be interested in a product, in a service like that? Question mark. And that's going to be your Facebook stat. Okay, so how did you like that idea? That's a ninja secret? I don't know. But here's what I do know. I know that during the live event, we had a lot of people actually do what I just suggested, and they started generating leads. I think even one of them turned into some private capital for one of the participants. So the point is you never know who you know. And more importantly, many of us know the right people. We just don't know the right words or the correct order in which to ask them in order to generate the results that we're looking for. Hopefully these tips have been helpful for you. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Until next time.